God damn it. And there's the depression hitting. Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be looking at Tech Talks Battletech, the Amaris Civil War Part 2. I don't know what part we're on, like how many times I've looked at this, but I do know we are going to drop into Part 6 of the video, No Good Deed. I've been told to watch this and Part 7 together, but considering we're getting to the it's all going to go to fuck from here, let's see if I can hold through that. Because people are saying, yeah, you need to watch both Part 6 and Part 7 to get the full emotional scope. But I'm just going, yeah, I have a feeling that would be okay. Fuck, followed by fuck. Yes. I am both looking forward to and dreading this. So we're just going to jump right in and see what the hell Tex has in store for us. Oh boy. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. And when you're done, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. Part 6. No Good Deed. Goes on.
After the Fall of Terra and the death of Stefan Amaris,
and by
the Council Lords of Star League made their first decision. They stripped Kerensky of his command responsibilities, the title of Protector and all that entailed. Soon after, they began to squabble for power as there was no rightful inheritance.
Okay, gonna be honest. If I had watched this part right here about stripping Kerensky of his power, I would have thought because they were jealous of him, thinking that he would declare himself the ruler. And I'm sure that thought was floating around, but according to everyone who was talking about a lot of what happened in the last video, specifically executing Amaris, that is apparently the moment, not only that Kerensky became emotional at, but also doomed Star League. Oddly enough, because all the nobles prior to this were thinking, okay, I'm a noble. They can kill me if it's maybe through an accident or assassination, but they're not going to take me prisoner and then not treat me as if I am of a lower peasant birth. As you can see, I have very little respect for the people in charge of the houses, but this is the moment where they were believing that in this point of time because they were basically feudal lords. Or I guess more like feudal prince kings or just feudal kings or emperors in their own right. Yeah, it's when you get to a certain level of size, it doesn't really matter what you're called, you're in charge. Also, are they drawing Kerensky here? That really doesn't look like him, mostly just because of the malevolence in that glare. I doubt it though. Also, Lao. I finally recognize the symbol. Whee! Yeah, it kind of sucks finding out that, yes, that was the emotional moment, and it was worse than I thought, because on the one hand, no more Amaris stuff. On the other hand, setting up that the main houses wouldn't trust him, because if he did it to the Amaris, after he was in custody, not during the heat of battle, not that he died to a stray shell, he died to firing squad. That breaks all faith, because they thought they could get away with most things, and at worst, they would live a life of luxury until they died, as opposed to, they just die. I hate that the thing that killed it is actually part of Kerensky doing what could actually be the right move.
Inheritor of First Lord. Each lord in turn would claim the title of First Lord for themselves and agreed that the council would be dissolved by the lords on 12th of August, 2781. And with that last act, Star League was dead.
Yep.
General Aaron de Chevalier, Kerensky's right-hand man, immediately proposed Kerensky overthrow the House Lords and restore the inner sphere without their petty bickering.
I mean, on the one hand, considering everything that happens next with the succession wars, that's... I want to say it's wrong because it betrays everything Kerensky stands against, and I love how Tex is giving the musical background to clue you in that this is not going to be what Kerensky takes. I don't even need to know, because one, it didn't happen, and two, it's sad, it's a dirge, and Kerensky's given up at this point. Because it's over, and he's probably realized that. Maybe not given up. That's probably the wrong choice of words. I hope. I really hope. But I couldn't see any way that Kerensky would ever agree to this plan. And it might have been right, but it also could never be Kerensky who did it, because he literally just fought a war against someone doing exactly that against Amaris. And to turn around and do that to him, I don't think Kerensky broke enough for that to be a thing yet. Which, if I'm being completely honest, if he was a more broken person and he did that, it probably would have been for the best. Because we know what happened next, and it definitely wasn't.
General de Chevalier
when bad ideas are the right choice.
The SLDF was with him and was prepared to strike, to overthrow the unworthy House Lords and solve the succession crisis with the might of the SLDF.
That's the worst part.
To bring an end to all of this madness once and for all. To lead them into a golden age.
And it would have maybe probably failed still, but
steering humanity toward a bright and noble
it would have united them
future.
Against him and just delayed the succession wars.
Said no. Kerensky refused because he would not turn his guns on what he'd sworn to protect. In fact, Kerensky spent the next few years trying his hardest to reconvene the Great Lords, traveling extensively, trying to get refuge for the displaced millions, trying to desperately to rebuild the hegemony, trying to desperately restart Starleague, its bureaucracy, its systems of governance.
Really? They put a discount Dan? Oh my god. I've been told a lot about Discount Dan, and I've seen his little clips at the end of his other videos, or specifically Tex's other videos, but what does this say? Discount Dan! Buy reconstruction bonds! Call 1-888-H! Get fucked! Yeah, that's probably about right. Also, the phrase for what this guy is doing is called carpetbagger. And I realize that sounds a lot worse, but also it is still completely accurate. Yeah. Blank to annex hegemony. They're focusing on Kurita, but honestly, I think everyone's been doing that. Merrick was... I honestly wish I could see what that said.
Kerensky visited the Lords to try to get them to come together.
They still listened to him.
To agree on basic humanitarian
but they actually heard him out.
Above all, continue the Starleague he had fought so hard for. Its
they don't want to be
ideologies being something that sustained hope. And one by one, the great lords of the Inner Sphere told him to fuck off. All of this didn't faze former General Kerensky. He was now an old man who'd fought his whole life for something that they'd just signed away.
Yep.
He fought on, still for what he believed as what he saw as his duty to never give up. But soon, he became alarmed in discovering that the great houses were each preparing for war, to absorb the hegemony in totality, to split it up like spoils and then duke it out amongst themselves for supremacy. In doing so, they were intending to poach the remaining Starleague Defense Force to bolster their now rapidly growing house armies.
Ooh, yeah. That's why you have the Exodus. I mean, there's a lot of moments so far where I'm like, oh, this is why he had them leave. And while I think a lot of those probably contributed to it, maybe somewhere in the background, this is definitely the main reason. Poaching the Starleague Defense Force, because technically they're not Starleague anymore. Yeah. God damn, this is hitting harder than I wanted. It's literally just watching as the people you just tried to fight for, air quotes are very intentional when it comes to anyone in charge of a house.
And that was the final straw for Kerensky. It was too much. When a few war-weary units began to defect to the growing house militaries, and with the portent of war growing daily, Kerensky made a plan. He was going to pick up and leave. Kerensky brought his idea to the sole surviving Starleague bureaucrat. Jerome Blake was the...
Oh, one? Starleague had only one bureaucrat. See, I thought Starleague had a lot of bureaucrats, and they were... Oh, because by the time they got there, everyone else would have probably become a soldier at that point. Huh. Okay, I guess that makes sense in that light. Just killing off everyone who was a bureaucrat? I mean, in the Amaris worlds. I'm not even going to call it the hegemony at that point because it's really not anymore, and it definitely wasn't then. It makes sense because they would have. But I would have sworn they would have... Oh, because last surviving star... Okay, and that's why they didn't kill them off. They probably just got absorbed into the houses where they were stationed outside of the hegemony as well, so they wouldn't be Star League anymore. They would have just been... Okay, that makes more sense. Also, wow, this guy. I actually thought that was a photograph at first, mostly because of the detail on the hair. And glasses. And considering medical technology, that's an affect. Or he was really poor. He definitely looks like someone who would buy Battletech miniatures and call it tactic prep. But also, he's not a warrior, so he just has them. I definitely don't know anyone who would do that, and it's definitely not hitting home, and I think I have the same glasses he does. I find the resemblance disturbing because I don't look anything like him, and I'm just going to believe that.
The head of SL ComNet and desperately trying to fix the damaged HPG network. Also, he was so respected for his impartial reputation and integrity that in 2780, he was offered the position of Minister of Communications of Star League, a nation that now didn't exist. He was the last vestige of the old regime. The last bureaucrat,
look-alike.
the last Star League official.
Screwed. Oh, from the office.
It was something he really didn't even notice because he was trying to reinstate the first circuit of the HPG network at the time. His nomination was reinstate the first circuit. And it was something he really didn't even notice because he was trying to reinstate the first circuit of the HPG network at the time. His nomination was one of the last few things the Great Lords ever agreed on, other than...
Huh. So before dissolving Star League, they nominated him to basically run the HPG network. I'm actually surprised about that. I thought this would have been Kerensky doing it, and he just keeps power through, well, power until no one else can really custom or take any way to take it over. Wow, great wording there. But no, they actually agreed on that. I'm mostly surprised because control of the HPG network is good. Denying it to your enemies, who is everyone else, the only way this could have happened, if it happened well before they dissolved Star League. This had to have happened early on, before they dissolved it, before they basically told Amaris to fuck off. This had to be something early on. Because any other way, giving HPG access willingly to your allies is just leveling a playing field where taking it away essentially says, I'm not fighting an enemy force, I'm fighting individualized pockets who have no communication. It's so much easier. You can't even be worried at that point. If you could do atrocities and actually do what I usually say of just dropping rocks on plants to wipe them out with a couple big rocks, entirely possible. You could do that because no one would know, because you wouldn't have any communications to or from it. And with some of the atrocities coming up in these succession wars, that is probably the one time in Battletech where, lore-wise, it would be supported to do that. And I fully expect someday finding out that it did happen. Yeah. I'm just very surprised they went with that.
Stripping Kerensky of all power and going back to arguing over who was now First Lord. When Kerensky confessed his intentions, Blake was furious.
Oh.
But agreed to prevent anybody from ever finding out until Kerensky was gone, on a few conditions. Conditions that Kerensky agreed to. With secrecy assured, Kerensky assembled the remnants of the SLDF and addressed its officers in a warehouse.
And that was essentially the birth of ComStar, and this is the birth of the clans. Sort of... I want to say that, but I could see that being ComStar's birth because Blake. And God, is it saying a lot. I'm just cringing at his name more than Amaris's because I know what's happening and just body horror, man.
Despite having been formally removed from his rank by the Lords of Star League.
Yeah, that's not the first time people in charge did that.
That his intentions were to take the Star League Defense Force, its stockpiles of weapons and technology,
so they can't be used on each other,
and leave the inner sphere forever.
Yep.
He said that the spirit of the Star League was alive in all of those who had suffered with him, and that they could leave the coming storm, to take the weapons and technology away from the people intent on destroying everything. He discussed even...
Everything he just said is true. And also completely wrong. How the hell did Tex manage to phrase it that way? I don't... Not even Tex. How did Battletech manage to make a liar say something that's a lie with true statements that he honestly believes is true and are also factual? Yes, he's taking away, because the parts that make him a liar haven't happened yet. I'm looking at future knowledge. That's why. Kerensky is accurately assessing, yeah, they're about to fuck shit up and destroy each other with everything they have. Let's not have us in that fight, so that they don't destroy each other with us. Although, realistically speaking, again, if Kerensky was a more broken man and he sided with one of any of the House Lords, he would have essentially just become king, emperor, hegemon, you name it. Because if any single one army took in the entire SLDF, they would be by default the winners. Because do you think anyone could stand against a force with Kerensky at the lead with all of his people at this point? I mean, that would go like the clan wars or the clan invasion. How'd that go? Yeah. And also, any single house that absorbed that would also be very aware we're winning because of Kerensky. And he has more guns and way better pilots and way better guns. Yeah, he wouldn't do it for the exact reason he said. He's not going to destroy what he literally just fought his entire life for, even if they're blowing it up. But also if he had. I mean, can you imagine if he had just taken over Davion or Steiner, or God help him, if he took over Kurita because ultimate fuck you, Kurita would never agree to it, but he could have easily gone in and say, I will help you on these conditions. You have our full unrestrained might on these conditions. He wouldn't. There is no way. Even I can see that is never a possibility. But is that like little what if? If he was just more broken, it would have... It's just my belief that Kerensky is such a good man that he would have made a much better leader than anyone else. But also the realization that if he was a more broken man who was willing to do that, he wouldn't have been a better leader than anyone else. And I just, God damn it, this is hurting.
And perhaps to return someday.
Someday?
To restore order and sanity.
Well...
And perhaps hope.
2 out of 3 isn't bad.
The majority of the assembled SLDF agreed to this
4.
plan with
1
a
out of 4.
standing ovation.
They returned. They just didn't do hope, sanity, or order.
Stay.
Did bring
Thinking
back.
abandoning Terra and the hegemony was a betrayal of ideals.
Yep.
Kerensky created a poll and asked every member of the SLDF their choice, stay or go.
They wanted to go, right?
Almost 80% sided with Kerensky.
Oh, 20%
and unlike
stayed.
Amaris, this vote was legitimate. And so, they planned to run. Run far away off the edge of the known map, to the deep periphery and beyond. To make this happen, the SLDF more or less stole everything they could. They looted and tore down supply yards across the hegemony regardless of what flag flew over them. Hasty repairs were conducted round the clock.
Okay, I love this part right now. Not because I find it funny that they're looting, but because they got so good at looting, they could just fly in, do hasty repairs, steal all the shit. And they've done that so much in the Civil War that this is actually probably second nature to them by now.
In the few reactivated SLDF fleet yards which had survived the war, military bases
I wonder if they could take
completely
pieces of it for later assembly.
All remaining funds were used to buy supplies on any market.
Good.
They would not be coming back this lifetime. On 8th of July, the SLDF issued a single word through the HPG network.
Oh, goodbye.
Exodus.
Oh.
And at that moment, across 50 star systems, the SLDF mobilized one last time and jumped for a brave new future beyond the reaches of the inner sphere.
That is a lot of ships. No, I mean, the assault on Earth, on Terra, was less than 200 ships. It was close. And if you include the other side, I don't think I've ever seen a mobilization close to 1,000 ships. And there might actually be closer than not in this image. Also, they're flying close enough for visual confirmation, which is I mean, in actual terms, that would be batshit terrifying. If you're close enough to see the other ship in space, you're way too close. But I mean, for sheer, this is cool. Yeah, no, rule of cool, man. I completely go with this. That is more ships than I've ever seen anywhere in Battletech. I mean, usually one big ship is making me go, oh, that's amazing. I'm just looking at this going, I want this. Like an image of this blown up to the size of a building wall, and I could just stare at it, man. That is... I think I need a moment, but I know if I do, it's just not going to be a moment. Oh, God, that is so many ships, and it's so cool. Oh, and there's the different types. Like, I see the basic one, like the standard. Almost looks like a salamander look. It's what it comes to me when I think of it. I know it's wrong, but it's what I got. And then they have this one, which is more spiky and has this the 4-point at the back. More flattened head, at least from here. It could be the image decoration, but god damn. That is big.
Their descendants would later return nearly 265 years later. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, I don't even think he's got to that one yet.
Went the last vestiges of Starlight.
He got to some of it.
Some of the bravest men and women of the Inner Sphere. Some of the bravest men and women the Inner Sphere would ever know took part in one last heroic act to save what they believed in by taking their skill set and weapons out of the hands of those who'd used them senselessly.
Oh, that line! Out of the weapons, out of the hands of people who would use them senselessly, and then the clans. I appreciate a few of the clans, like Clan Wolf or Clan Ghost Bear, mostly because Clan Wolf is at least somewhat competent, and I just like the other ones just piss me off because the enforced incompetence of just honor. Not just that they have honor, but they use it to justify stupidity and arrogance. Is it earned arrogance? Yes, but arrogance is stupid. And Ghost Bear just seemed like really cool as a clan. I just like that. Yeah. But then everyone else, like, what was it? Purple Falcon or Pigeon or whatever it is? Oh, yeah. Something like Off Yellow Ostrich. I don't know. The Jade Boys. Them. And some of the other idiots out there. I just... Yeah, it's a good thing they got rid of those weapons for people who wouldn't misuse them or just completely waste everything. I just... As much as I like the clans, and I actually do prefer their mechs, mostly because I just think some of them are cool. Mad Cat Mark II, man. Some of them are just... it's just the enforced stupidity, and we're going to get to that, aren't we? Oh, no.
Soon enough, the Inner Sphere would descend into total war over the notion of succession over the position of First Lord. The succession wars would rage
and once
for
more again for the
200
fourth one.
years without decisive outcome.
All good things. Can
Rather than...
I honestly... I want to, but... It's just frustration because it's like Kerensky is so right about so much and he's not even wrong in what he's doing, but setting up the clans as a way to preserve and come back later when things have calmed down so we don't have to fight and do that needlessly. And then it's the clans, man. All I'm asking is, they have ungodly levels of technology at this point. Did nobody bring terraforming stuff? I just... Why? Or I'm assuming they did in some idiot... Oh, no. No. Please tell me it's just an oversight because this is something the original writers in Battletech just didn't think of. Terraforming is an old idea. That's definitely not the case because these writers are competent. I keep hearing that people hate Nicholas Kerensky. I think it's the right one. I hope I'm wrong. The son that didn't die in Russia, they hate him more than Amaris. For some shit he's about to pull. Yep. I have a feeling I'm just going to stop here because this is just getting way too uncomfortable. God damn it. This is literally just the chapter of, and it got worse. We know it got worse, and we can't even fight it anymore. God damn it. And there's the depression hitting. So, despite honestly wanting to get to part 7, all good things, Yeah, we're just not going to do that. I am frustrated, annoyed, and just getting not even triggered. Just how do you trigger depression? I guess that would still be triggered technically, but it's knowing that things are going to get worse and that all the good things Kerensky wanted to do by doing this, and even the fact that he's not wrong in his assessment, is also going to be wrong in outcome because we know everything he just said. It feels like a betrayal of wanting to come back to save them, to bring order and stability and reason. And then I look at the clans, and some of them did that. Most of them were hyper-feudalistic societies that made the freaking everyone look sane by comparison. Jade Turkey's my ass. I mostly go against them just because I have the most fun nicknames. I actually have nothing wrong with that clan. I just enjoy the nicknames. But some of them, the clans make sense. I love how they were set up in lore and how, looking back on people talking about what they were doing in documentaries, they were setting their return to Battletech up for almost a decade. Yeah, that's cool. I love when a story is brought together well, and I like them being they were supposed to be the enemy, is how they were portrayed. But then learning that they were supposed to be the good guys instead, and that they came from some amazing guys, and tragic irony is a bitch. Personally, I still prefer calling it Romeo and Julieting it. Is it wrong? Yes. Will I do it anyways? Probably. Because any time where you're thinking about it and something you're observing, just saying tragic irony feels more tragic. So just saying Romeo and Julieting is just that step removed that makes it a little more palatable. God damn it. So yeah, for everyone watching, I'm going to go blow up things in Harebrained Schemes Battletech. I just need some good old-fashioned senseless violence. That seems about nice right now. Yeah. Otherwise, for everyone watching, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, tell me what I missed, and yeah, you can rag on me for not getting to the next part. I thought I could. I can't, man. I just can't. I know it's going to get worse. And then I know the Exodus is going to come up, and I know that's going to probably just take all of the Kerensky, feeling, just turn it into, that's not what he wanted. God damn, man. Yeah. Conflicted feelings. It's all the same. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.